Okay, we're back again on top of the J&S table, and my modular working system. I love these little baking trays. As I take one item apart, all the fasteners etc. for that item drop into a tray and the tray goes with the part. So on reassembly it's quite easy, and luckily my lady volunteers at an op shop and they work out at about 90 cents each or something, and I have got them strewn throughout this place. Little baking trays, man, they are a worker's best friend. Right, I'll get back behind the camera and try and get a decent zoom, and you can see what I'm battling against. I won't be able to have my hands in and do all the normal TV presentation bit, but you only need a little bit of cack to get underneath the table and you'll see how much is here. It's really hard to believe, but that little bit of cack is enough to cant it a cup of thou or twist the table, and even though it doesn't have as great a effect as it does on a surface grinder, it still gives you the inability to even dial things up properly, and yeah, that's like a heartbreaking situation. You just can't get to where you want to be. So I'll zoom you in and give you a look, and we'll see if we can't get you a simulated demonstration. Okay, here we are again. That's the main traverse table. This is the swivel table that sits up on top of it. This bit isn't too bad, it's just under the degree plate. That would sit up on top normally, but how does this shit get in between two tables? It's just got me absolutely had it. And I've come to the quick realisation that underneath this table, it's all going to be the same. Look at that. Now here, there's a little bit of an inkling that the tables might be mating here, but oh boy. Yeah, for precision slides, to have this crap everywhere, it's not good. The other side, I'll take you around there in a sec, give you a look. I don't know if it's as bad over here, but I've been spraying it with that degreaser and hosing it off, and you can still see a little bit of the table here, but there's a fair bit of gunge. But this side seems to have seated a little bit better, probably because of the weight of the workhead that's sitting up on top of it. Okay, and that's what I've been using, just a cheap automotive degreaser, although I do have lots of other cleaning items that was left here by the previous owner, so I may as well use it up. But the reason I've got this here is I spray on the degreaser and I come back later on with an atomizer bottle and then pick it all up with either kitchen towels or a bit of newspaper. But most of the atomizer bottles won't take solvents or detergents without failing, and the good quality brand for me was always Canyon, and it's disappeared because of the bloody cost. But I picked these up at the Cheap and Nasty shop. Well, it used to be the dollar shop, now it's changed ownership, it's the $4 shop. But it is an absolute ripper. It's a 900ml capacity bottle, and I question that, why the hell's not 1 litre. But yeah, it's a real good squirter, it's at a good price, and we'll see what its life is like during the job. Bye for now. G'day guys, just back for a quick snap. Here's the workhead up in the air. I didn't think the engine crane would do such an easy job of it. It looks like quite a big solid mass of metal, but it just lifted up with a couple of wanks of the hydraulics and away we went. So now I'll gently put it down towards the floor and then reel it over here to where I'm standing and get it out of the way. I think I got most of the yuck while it was still on there, but I've got to get it off to move the table anyway. Bring you back when the table's on the way off. G'day guys, back again. Well, what a lot of grunting and groaning it's been. This table's as heavy as me in a bit, I think. I didn't film that because it's just impossible in this confined area to work my engine crane and get that table off, which has been a bloody career on its own. But now I can zoom you in and let you know why I took the thing apart. Down there on the table is the offending table, and man, it is one heavy beastie. It's about as heavy as I like to move around. on my engine crane. And one thing you've got to be careful of is as you raise it and lower it, you change the radius just that little bit, and that little bit might be enough to tip it over. Okay, let's bring you in on the machine. Take you out for an overview first off. Looks like a landing pad for a big bag of shit, doesn't it? Yeah, it's just absolutely awful. And now for a little bit of the zoom. That is the pivot point. Oh no. That is the pivot point. The previous one was just the running point. This is absolutely awful. And one thing I can't understand is I always found the POMs, especially with Rolls-Royce, there were jacking points and little dowel pins and special pullers that you could get things apart with, but there's been no provision to get this thing out of here. But look at all the yuck around that. There's the slewing mechanism for the table. I'll just put a scraper on it. You can see what it's coming up like, and I know it's not bucket loads, but this is supposed to be a precision surface. That will give you 2/10 of a thou on a cylindrical grinder. And all of this, yeah, that just doesn't make a machine work. Oh, here, just oodles of it. Here's some more of that wonderful paint job. Look, it was fabulous out of the factory, but 50 years or 60 years of gooey goop has really brought it to a head. There's the adjusting bolt, and I haven't turned the table over yet. I might wait till I get some help. But that just is amazing. Well, where to from here? Lots of scrubbing. I found one invaluable item is a tiny little stainless steel TIG toothbrush, as it's called, for cleaning your TIG torch. It gets into all those little nooks and crannies that a welding brush won't get into. That squirt degreaser, I think that'll give me a lot of help, and just a little bit of gentle elbow work. You can't damage the table, it has to be cleaned and kept within 1/10 of a thou, and I'm not one for getting into it with 80 grit emery paper or black Scotch-Brite on. Especially Scotch-Brite's a good cleaner, but it's got a lot of times silicon carbide grain in there that can get impregnated down into the casting, and if you're not really careful about getting it out again, it looks nice and clean, but it'll sit there for a century and just grind things away. But I can see now I've got a lot of pulling it apart. I think, if there's not already provision, I'll have a quick look. Nothing that I can see. There's no mechanical assistance at getting the table up, and that is really a little bit silly, so I'm going to drill down through the top of the table 1/8 VSPT and plug it, and in the future, if I need to, I can drop a bloody grease nipple in there and pump it up and get the table up. Okay, I'll conclude it here, put this up on the web, bring you back bit by bit as it's done. It's going to be way too long for one-off video. It'll also take too long. I could be working on this for weeks and weeks and months. Okay, please like and subscribe. Bye for now.